You didn't fail your last fat loss phase. You completed it. That's why it stopped working. And if you don't understand this, you repeat the same 20, 30 pound cycle rather, for the rest of your life. Here's the part that nobody tells you. The moment you felt better, the moment your clothes fit, the moment the pressure eased, your body stood down because it thought the danger was over. And when the mission is survival, there is always a finish line. Why do I always fall off when things are going well? I wasn't even trying to quit. I just stopped caring. It's like something in me switches off once I feel okay again. I told myself I'd maintain it this time, but I knew I wouldn't. And if you've ever thought, I just need to be more disciplined next time, this episode is going to make you uncomfortable. Because discipline wasn't the problem. The mission was. If you've ever lost 20 or 30 pounds and somehow ended up right back where you started, this episode will explain why it was inevitable. And the reason this hit you so hard is because you have done it before. Lost weight, got compliments, felt better in your clothes. Maybe you even got lean enough that people asked what you were doing. And for a few months, you felt like you figured it out. Then, 6 months later, maybe a year, you're back where you started. And you tell yourself it was discipline, consistency. Life got busy. Stress picked up. Travel, kids, work, Q4. But that's not what happened. What happened, it was simpler and more uncomfortable. Your body thought the mission was complete. Welcome back to Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. I am Marwan Kilu, your host for the day. And for the next 20 minutes, I want to walk you through something you've probably never considered. Not why you failed, but why you succeeded and then stopped anyway. So let's begin with the pattern. You lost weight before, maybe multiple times, 20, 30 pounds, maybe more. You followed the plan. You showed up. You did the work. And it worked. Let me say it again. Blood pressure came down. Pants fit again. You stopped feeling like shit when you looked in the mirror. Your wife noticed. You noticed. And then, without a clear moment that you can point to, it stopped mattering. The urgency faded. You started skipping workouts. Not because you're lazy, because it didn't feel critical anymore. You stopped tracking what you ate. Not because you forgot, because the consequences you were avoiding weren't there anymore. And slowly, quietly, the weight came back. Now here's what you told yourself when that happened. I lost focus. I got complacent. I need to get disciplined again. But that's not true. You didn't lose focus. The mission ended. And nobody, including you, realized it. There's a reason your effort shuts off the moment relief kicks in. And it has nothing to do with willpower. It has everything to do with what kind of motivation you were running on. Here's what actually happened. When you started that diet or that training program or whatever it was, you were operating from a need. And needs are survival instructions. Your doctor maybe told you your cholesterol was high, your blood pressure was borderline, you couldn't fit in your clothes, you felt like shit. You looked at yourself in the mirror and didn't recognize the guy looking back. So your nervous system did what it's designed to do. It said, fix this or die. And you complied. Because that's what needs do. They create urgency. They activate compliance. They override comfort. Your body doesn't care about aesthetics. It doesn't care about the six packs or looking good at the beach. It cares about threat reduction. So you lost the weight. Blood work improved. Clothes fit again. Doctor stopped nagging you. The panic subsided. And then, without you noticing, the threat was gone. Which means the mission was over. You see, needs will push you just far enough to feel safe again. Safety is where progress dies. This is why the pattern repeats. You lost 20, 30 pounds, you feel better. The immediate danger passes. And your nervous system, the part of you that actually drives behavior, stands down. There's a reason this keeps happening. It's got nothing to do with motivation. It has everything to do with the kind of fuel you are running on. Most men think is effort. Most men think effort is effort. But your body doesn't respond to effort. It responds to threat and meaning. It's not that you got lazy. It's that the problem you were solving got solved. And once it's solved, there is no biological reason to keep going. You don't lack discipline. You lack a reason that survives comfort. Art Lewin put it simply, needs are logical. Wants and desires are emotional. Needs will push you far enough to feel safe again. But once they're satisfied, they stop pushing. And that's the part nobody warns you about. Needs create change. Desire creates permanence. And this is why the weight always comes back. Because once the need disappears, so does the pressure. And whether you realize it or not, every time you lost the weight and stopped, that's a line you crossed. You didn't quit. You arrived. You didn't stop because life got busy. You stopped because the panic was gone. Your blood work improved. Your clothes fit. The mirror stopped shouting at you. And the moment that happened, your nervous system stood down. This is what I call the 20, 30 pound trap. It's the weight you lose to get out of danger. The weight you lose to become someone. I wasn't trying to be elite. I just didn't want to feel embarrassed anymore. Once I looked fine, the fire was gone. I kept saying I'd lock it in later, but later never came. Deep down, I knew okay would be enough to make me stop. You didn't aim high and miss. You aimed low and hit. And here's the thing, most men never recognize this. They think they failed. They think they need more willpower, more consistency, a better program. But the program wasn't the problem. The goal was, because the goal was to stop feeling bad. And once you stop feeling bad, the goal is complete. You didn't set out to be elite. You set out to be acceptable. That's why you stopped. Not because you're weak, not because you lack discipline, because you succeeded at what you were actually trying to do, which was get safe again. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. If you start again, if you go back to training, go back to the diet, lose the weight again, you'll end up in exactly the same place, because the goal is still survival, and survival has a finish line. You'll lose enough weight to feel okay, to stop the guilt, to quiet the voice in your head that says you are letting yourself go. And then you'll stop again, because okay is a destination, and destinations don't require maintenance. They require arrival. The body that you built to escape danger becomes the body that you maintain out of what? Obligation, guilt, fear of going backwards. None of this is enough. None of that is enough. You already know this. You've lived it. The question isn't, why did I stop? The question is, what was I actually trying to achieve? And the answer is to avoid the consequences. You'll always stop when the consequences fade. If the answer is to look decent, you'll stop when you look decent. If the answer is not to embarrass myself, you will stop when the embarrassment goes away. But if the answer is to become someone, if the answer is about identity, not outcomes, then there's no finish line. You don't finish being someone, you just are. And this is why you see the likes of Tiger Woods, the likes of Tom Brady, Mamba, Jordan, all these guys. Serena Williams, Roger Federer, Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi. I can go on and on. All these guys that became someone, right? They wanted to be someone. I'm like, there's I'm trying to think of a famous rapper that something said about lyrics about becoming someone. I don't remember, and I don't remember exactly who he was. I want to say Nicki Minaj, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly who. It might have been a famous sports person. Anyway, like, they didn't set themselves a finish line, right? They didn't say, "Oh, I want to get to do this," and that's it. The goalposts always moved further and further. And this is why these guys became champions. This is why professional teams, like football teams, soccer, whatever, right? Basketball teams, they dominate, is because their goal is to become champions, right? It's about identity, not outcome. So the moment they reach that goal, before they reach that goal, there's always another goal set, right? Because the bar goes higher and higher and higher, because the human brain will always settle when you reach something. I think probably somebody like Novak Djokovic maybe went through that phase when he won 4 Grand Slams, 4 tournaments in a year. I think he did. And then the next year is sort of like, I don't know if he won a tournament the next year, but there's always like a come down, right? And that's another reason why champions all become champions again, right? Because they don't settle at being like, there's no like outcome, so to speak. They become a team. All right, let's carry on. So you don't finish being someone, you just are. And this is the moment most men never have, right? They cycle through the same pattern for years, decades. They lose weight, they gain it back, lose it again, gain it back again, and become a cycle. And they think it's about discipline, but it's not about discipline. It's about the fact that they're solving the wrong problem. They're training to escape, not to become. And escape is temporary, right? The men who stay lean past 40, 50, they're not more disciplined than you. They just never mistook survival for identity. They didn't train to get out of danger. They trained to become the kind of man who doesn't negotiate for himself. Okay, so let's take me, for example. I'm 48. Okay, I don't have more discipline than you. It's no longer about discipline for me. This is who I am, right? This is who I am. I train 4 days a week. I don't negotiate with myself, right? But I don't go and beat myself up because one day I didn't train, or if I go away, for example, I go and travel and I'm not able to train, right? I sort of, I don't let circumstances dictate, but I also don't set unrealistic targets, so to speak. Right. So if I'm going away, let me give you an example. If I'm going away, was it last year? Was it last year? Last year, the year before, 2024, I went to Arizona with about 25 different people. Right. So I wasn't able to train for, we went for a week. I was able to train twice. I found the gym that I was able to go to twice instead of 4 times. And so that was sort of like, how should I say, what trying to think what I'm trying to say. So although I set a target to train 4 times, like I want to say I trained according to my identity, to my circumstances, but I don't want you to take it the wrong way in the sense of like, oh, okay, life got busy today, so I didn't do that. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. So circumstances, meaning sleep, meaning like other people, the sort of, like holidays, people with me. So when you're around 20, 25 people and you're not in control of what food you're going to eat and when you're going to eat, because there's 20 different people, right? And you want to go out to a restaurant, then it's not realistic to go out and eat and train, because you're not going to make any, you're not going to make any progress. And if anything, you're going to set yourself back because you're not able to eat the proper food, okay, at the time that you need to eat. Or, for example, I came back from travel like 3 weeks ago. I was in Cancun for New Year. I came back and I was spent 24 hours on the road without any food at all. I didn't train the next day. I came and I arrived on Monday. I didn't go and train on Tuesday because I was too busy. There's just too many things to do. It's like I was touched down in 2 different states, right? And I had virtually no sleep at all. And so by the time that I woke up, it meant that things was just going to be like the time that you wake up. When you sort of wake up in a different time zone, right? And this is what happened to me. So what I did, instead of like going on the Tuesday, I went on Wednesday, Thursday, and then I went Friday, and then I went Wednesday. What did I go? I went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then the next week, I made it up. Simple. Anyway, all right. So here's what I want you to sit with. And by the way, I don't want you to sort of take it as though Marwan's saying, giving you different sort of messages, right? I will always find a way to train. Okay, even if I have to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and go and train at 5 o'clock. Okay, this is just who I am. But sometimes I have to be realistic with myself in that there are things outside of my control that I cannot control. Right? If you're with 20 different people, then it's not going to be the right thing to go and train and leave everybody for like an hour. All right. So here's what I want you to sit with. Every time you've started and stopped, it wasn't failure. It was mission complete. Mission completed. You got what you came for. Safety, acceptability, relief. And once you got it, your body had no reason to keep going. Survival changes bodies. Identity keeps them. And this explains everything. Why you always tall right when you're doing well. Why motivation fades right when you think it should be the strongest. Why discipline works until it doesn't. You weren't lazy. You were logically finished. And until you change what you're training for, the cycle will repeat. Because needs create change, but they don't create permanence. Needs don't build physiques. Needs don't build physiques. They end emergencies. So always go as far as you can. Never set yourself a goal, right, to just lose 20 pounds. Always go all the way. And that means going all the way to get a six-pack. That's all I've got for you today. I hope that this episode was helpful. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you get a notification as soon as the show goes, a new episode drops. Follow me on my socials on facebook.com, Marwan Kilu. And I am also on LinkedIn at Marwan Kilu Fitness. Share this with another leader because that's how we grow the show. And as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. That's how we grow the show, guys. All right, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.